Hello everyone, it's Mike Levin. Um, Saturday morning, January 16, 2016, out walking this guy and uploading my last video that I just shot on this phone to YouTube, I guess over the cellular network while shooting my next video. Wow, the computing power, the smoothness, not having to worry about hiccups and interruptions while that process is going on. It's pretty amazing the state that we're at. I compare this in my mind to the days of the Amiga computer, and as advanced as the Amiga was, it doesn't hold a candle to what computers or phones are just doing as a matter of, common, expectations these days. Wow. That's just in the 30 or so years that I've kind of been a fan watching the whole process play out. So that's an observation, but what this video is really about is the planning around the next steps of Pipulate, now that I'm with a company that really develops its own and values proprietary information and tools. So there's going to be a split. There's going to be all the architectural and framework type issues surrounding Pipulate, which will remain in GitHub. In other words, Pipulate will always be getting better and always being improved. But then there are the functions, the user provided functions, whatever terminology I want to slap on it, which is basically a sub Git repo that just gets put into a certain location from which you can maintain your own custom Pipulate functions, because a Pipulate function is really just a standalone Python function. It's going to work just the way you can use unit testing to test a certain area of a program without actually having to run the whole program with sort of harnesses and such. So it is very similar with Pipulate. You can develop standalone Python functions, provided input from however you want to kind of harness it in. It could be in the same text file, it could be an HTTP call, it doesn't matter. But basically, if your Python function works, you just drop it into this certain location, and now it's part of Pipulate, and it's a function that you can invoke from within, today Google Spreadsheets, but tomorrow who knows, to do ad hoc investigations where the spreadsheet itself goes, hits a data source, pulls back some data, runs this function you wrote using what it fetched as input, and then plugs the output back into the cell from where it was invoked. And that's kind of Pipulate. That's what it does. And I see no conflict of interest in that system that sweeps left to right across a matrix and processes the things that it encounters, pulling in, functionality from servers it knows where to look for it. All very generic framework stuff, not real SEO kung fu there. But things that have the SEO kung fu, like if the thing, is able to look at search results, store them down, maybe visit pages that it finds in the search results, pulls their domain authority and spins your own competition number, for example, so that you can tell whether a term is worth trying to optimize for based on how fortified the pages that are in those locations, the top locations today, are, how resistant they will be to, attempts to take those spots away from them. So there's a lot of competitive information in there and how you write those functions. And I named that area of Pipulate my Pipulate, but I think I'm going to change that name. It's going to be something a little bit better of a nickname, something to really let people know that they can hold back their secret sauce, their, magic ingredient from the greater Pipulate project, and still participate in the greater Pipulate project. Clean up the framework, and then you work on your proprietary Python functions all you want, knowing that it'll just be able to be used by your own Pipulate instances when you want. And that's the future then. That's the future of Pipulate. That's how I'm dividing up the work. I'll continue my GitHub work on the framework out there in front of everybody, and hopefully make some updated videos about how awesome it actually is. It's a difficult concept for people to wrap their heads around and see how they could use it every day, but once they see it and have that aha breakthrough moment, they're not going to know how they live without it. And so I see that, maybe 6 months down the line. I am being much more easy on myself with deadlines and schedules regarding Pipulate, now that I don't feel I need it as my key to being effective in growing a company. And I don't see it as attempting to be a highly reliable schedule task runner. There's plenty of other ways to do that. But what I do see it as, if those other tools are like the machine guns of SEO, always running, always doing position monitoring, always crawling sites, finding new links. Those are the machine guns, the automation pieces. Pipulate is the scalpel, and I'll stand by it as the scalpel, and I'll keep everything about it small and lightweight and lean, understandable, pick-apartable, host yourselfable, hostable in the cloud, hostable on this new keychain, brand of computers that's almost upon us. I'll have ways that these things can scale out to big jobs, but it's not about the big jobs. It's about single core, single thread processing to, state a job clearly, get the job done, and not worry about all this, concurrency, 80 core, can pull everything down at once, fancy programming that really, in my mind, just complicates the matter. Pipulate is about doing precise investigations, and if you can't sit there an extra 2 minutes for the overhead that's involved in not having concurrency on a small crawl, then use a powerful crawling tool like Screaming Frog, and then just import the data in Pipulate. It's all the same. Anyway, that was a fun little ramble about Pipulate. I didn't even realize I had it that clear in my head what I was going to be doing with it, the direction I'd be going, now that I'm in this unique new professional situation. But that's it. Thanks for joining me. Hope to talk to you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe.